report, which is Angela.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
Okay, the workforce report, it's been a few months since you've seen this. I believe July was the last time that we had reported out. We're actually moving. We're going to be reporting the workforce dashboard um, every 6 months, and then the vacancy report quarterly. So this is kind of like our getting both of those out now, and then we'll start that new schedule. So the workforce dashboard, again, this is for October information. The upper third of the report shows our applicants and new hires. The middle third shows our demographics as well as gender and race. And then the bottom third shows our separations. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Not necessarily a question for Angela, but I know we had some discussion here on the floor, and I was a recipient of some emails about this, but I don't remember this being discussed, that it was going to be going to every 6 months for a cadence. And I guess I would just say that I have concerns about that. I'm not sure. One of the large parts of this committee is to talk about staff, our workforce, and our demographics. And I think changing the cadence of this report could have a negative effect on what we're trying to accomplish.
Anyone else? Thank you. Eden?
It's grading time, so I have too many devices in front of me. To that point, are we moving this because our committee chair and vice chair asked for it, or was this why did we extend the time between?
I can't speak for the chair. Shauna, maybe you might want to. Do you want to expound on that, please?
Excuse me for sitting around the horseshoe. It was just closer. Yes. So Chairman Ricker asked for us to. We had some conversations about the timing and how often the data within those reports changes significantly. And so he asked us to provide it at this cadence for the time being, and then we would sit down and reevaluate at that time if that was working, or if we needed to, to Member Phelan's point, speed up the timeline of that. If the committee has concerns about that, that's something certainly when Member Ricker gets back that we can sit down and talk about that.
Phelan?
I would just again encourage that we have a conversation about that. I did have conversations with Steve on it, but I don't ever remember a point of that conversation being changing the frequency of the report. The other thing that I would say is we established the vacancy fund that obviously is going to have an effect to workforce, that it would be the worst time to change that. And I know that might fall through public safety and justice or ways and means or even exec. I just, at a time when we're really criticizing what we do with employees, it seems to make a lot of sense to continue it at its normal cadence.
Makes sense. I mean, I think Chairman Ricker was encouraging that before we had those other final decisions on the vacancy report. So it is worth having another discussion about it to be sure that we're in alignment with what we have progressed to go forward with. Any other comments? Okay. Seeing none. Angela, would you like to continue, please?
Sure. Next up is the vacancy snapshot. Again, the last time you saw this was, I believe, in July. So here is a snapshot in October, looking at our fill versus our vacant position. And the green column is the previous, so that would have been July's information. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments? None? We'll move on.
Okay, and then we have our quarterly liability and workforce report. This is through September. We did delay reporting out last month since it was heavy budget items. So I'm bringing that to you this month. Again, this is Q3 for our liability and work comp reports. The top half show our liability claims by year, as well as the costs for those claims. Again, the cost is reported out by the claim year. And then the bottom half is related to our work comp claims, and then the costs so far for those. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we can back it up now and go back to approval of the minutes from the, oh, we're gonna put them on the phone. Oops, pause for a second there. First of all, we need to get a motion to bring on the line Daly and Elsasser. So we have Rob and Eaton. Call for a vote. There we go. All in? Yeah. Okay. No screen. So we're in a they were all, motion passes. Motion passes. So we can bring them in remotely. All right. Are you there, Linda and Brian?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Linda?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we'll move now to approval of the minutes for October 28th, 2025. Can I get a motion to bring those to the floor? Eden and Sharon, call for vote. Or any questions, updates first? None. Now we'll call for a vote.
I vote aye.
Brian's an aye.
I vote aye.
Linda is an aye as well. Motion passes. All right, we will move into now resolutions. So first up, I believe, is it Mark? And yes, Mark. For 4.1, migrate the county clerk's recorder of deeds software to a cloud solution for enhanced cybersecurity and disaster recovery. I'll pass it over to Mark, please. Oh, put on motion to put on the floor first, please. Danny and Brandy. Thank you.
Thank you. The county clerk had approached us several months ago about looking at doing an upgrade and migration of their current Eagle recorder system. The Eagle recorder system, which records all of our land records, was we signed a contract with Tyler in 2014 for the implementation of that product. And since that time, we have backloaded a lot of our land records, and as of today, we have historical land records back to 1825 stored in that system, and we have what's considered non-historical records back to January of 1987. So it's a pretty critical application. This would actually be a two-step process. First of all, we would upgrade them to the current version, which gives them some enhancements in operational side of things. It also is an ADA compliant, and then we would migrate them to the cloud. The reason for the migration to the cloud, it's a critical system. As you see in your packet, we went through them with their impact if we were have some sort of cyber incident, if they were down, and the impact on their office, and from a business continuity side of things, how that would impact that. So that's the summary of what's in front of you. Have any questions?
Any questions, Sharon?
Is this being paid for out of your fund?
It is. It is within the budget.
Any additional questions, comments? Rob?
My question is, I know we're doing a lot with Tyler now, countywide. How much of the services they provide us are proprietary?
I would say the data, we own the data. So if we ever make the decision to move, we would get that data. That's in all those contracts. So the data is always ours. So from a proprietary side, I would say, you know, the data we track is based on what we're required to by state law in most of those situations. So if they were to go out of business or something would happen and we would have to shift over, we will all have that availability to move that data back and migrate and move that data.
And that would be something that another vendor could pick up fairly seamlessly.
I wouldn't say seamlessly. Everything's difficult
Right.
These days, especially when you look at integrations with all the other systems where the land records go to. There's integrations with GIS. Is it doable? Yes. Will it take time? Yes. This project is not seamless. I mean, this is a two-step project. This will take us probably 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get this done. It'll be into next year before this. So today, nothing's seamless. It's all got complications built into it, especially from the security side. So, but like I said, Jenny reviews all those contracts to make sure that, you know, there's a way out of those and who owns the data. And I think that's the critical thing. It's ours. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Eden?
Do we keep physical copies of these things, or they're all digital now?
I believe they're all digital. We went through a process of all the old records a few years ago where they pulled all the books and scanned all those, and those are no longer here. So.
Danny?
I think it was Sharon that asked who's paying for this, and I guess my question comes from sitting through the budgeting process. I noticed that there's times when IT pays for software, and there are times when departments or electeds pay for software. And my question is more is why is that, and is there a policy from IT that ensures when you become involved in the process and when it's paid for out of your budget?
I'll go ahead and start with that. I would say there's not a policy. I will say that 99% of the software and hardware that I'm aware of comes out of the IT budget. Now, the finance department does get involved every year for the chargeback. They sit down, we break down every cost. We have a line by every software and what departments it supports and those dollars. And then the finance department then breaks that out, and that's how the chargeback is done. We don't really do the chargeback. Chargeback is based on specific software and people. And I don't know if finance department wants to comment on that, or Scott, on how we've done that the last 11, 12 years.
So, even longer than that. We have a variety of revenue sources. Like this item specifically, some of the annual software maintenance cost will be paid for by a transfer into IT from the clerk's recorder automation fund. Revenue in the recorder automation fund comes from when documents are recorded for the recorder deeds side of the clerk's office. The longstanding practice is that IT guides the process or the process for a project, or oversees it and manages it so that there's proper governance, that not only our procurement methods are followed, but also the software that we select and bring to you for approval meets our needs, and they go through a process to ensure that the needs are defined as part of a specification when we're going out for new software, and that the vendor we select, meets all those needs. The product that they are providing to us meets all those needs, but then also works with or integrates with all of the other software systems that it might come in contact with. And so that process, we really started with that methodology when we created the enterprise, an integrated criminal civil justice information system, which was formerly known as Odyssey and is now known as Enterprise Justice. In that, there's a kind of a decision-making body that meets as needed at this point, but during the project was meeting monthly, that had all the key elected officials and department heads that would somehow be working with that software. That model's proven to work very well going forward in every other major software project that we've seen. This is an example where there's only one office, the county clerk's office, through their recorder of deeds functionality and responsibilities. That, so it's basically a kind of a committee of one. Where IT comes into play is, again, for the things I already said, making sure that the new Eagle product or the replacement product for Eagle is going to do everything we need it to do, and then we'll be able to integrate with any of the other various functions and other software packages that we have. The best example is Munis, as the county clerk takes payment for when documents are recorded. But on the back end, there's the assessment software that, those parcels then are created in the GIS as well. So, their role is both a leadership role and a coordination role as we go through every project.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead and move on. I believe this is Mark as well. Need to bring a motion to bring. Oh, sorry. I'm just like moving too fast for us today. Let's go ahead and vote on that. Take a vote.
I vote aye.
Brian's an aye.
Aye.
Linda's an aye. I just want to lump them all together. Motion passes. Okay. Now, we need to bring to the floor the next item, 4.2, approval to procure the Cloud Gavel electronic warrant system, which is Mark as well. Can I get a motion? Eden and Randy? All right.
Thank you.
Mark and
This was a request that came in from Court Administration and the City of Peoria Police Department. This is seeking approval for a contract amendment with Tyler for the Cloud Gavel electronic warrant system. This includes a intergovernmental agreement with the City of Peoria to cover half of all the cost of this system, including the implementation and half of the ongoing cost. I will say, when I wrote this up back in November, Cloud Gavel was on their own as a company, but was sold through Tyler. As of last week, Tyler's in the process of buying them, but the contract is with Tyler, and that will not have any effect on the contract we have, since it is with Tyler. I'll go ahead and let Gabe talk a little bit about this. It has a big impact on the courts and how they handle warrants, and he can probably comment also on the impact on the City of Peoria Police Department, and the sheriff is here, and he's also going to utilize this once we get it in place.
Thanks, Mark. And I want to thank Mark for all the help in negotiations with Tyler, or was Cloud Gavel at the time. And then also I want to thank Jenny, because she's worked the last couple of weeks over trying to get this IGA done with the City of Peoria. So we very much appreciate it. So this has been a big request for the last couple of years from the courts and the judges and police department, PPD with the City of Peoria. We first started exploring this about 2 years ago. We looked at a product that Tyler had. They just couldn't kind of compete out there with Cloud Gavel. Cloud Gavel was the gold standard. And so they heavily integrated with them. And hence is why on November 19th, they went ahead and purchased them. Currently today, the reason we want to change this process is the whole search warrant electronic process is paper-based. And just to give you an example of this, let's say the example I want to give is after hours. So we have an after hours duty judge who's on call for warrants, and say there's a scene in the police department, city of Peoria's after hours, say it's 10 p.m. They need to get a search warrant. They need to get a hold of that judge. They need to locate that judge. They need to agree on a meeting location or go to where that judge is at. They need to complete the search warrant. They're hopefully in their squad car or go downtown and print out the search warrant. They then need to meet the judge. Hopefully, best case scenario, that the warrant they wrote is correct and the judge is okay with the language and doesn't need to be redone. The judge then will swear him in and sign him in. And this process sometimes takes multiple hours. And in the meantime, discovery or evidence can be destroyed. So it's a timely thing, especially after hours and during hours. This new process makes it digitally streamlined. So now what they can do is through an app on their phone or an iPad or a browser on any PC or equipment they have, they will instantly be notified that when the search warrant is in their queue, the police department or sheriff's department can call that judge and let them know that there's a search warrant there. Through the app, they can digitally connect through video to the officer that's on site. They can swear that officer in, and then they can go ahead and sign the search warrant then, and they can execute the search warrant then in time. So it takes from hours down to minutes. So this is just a huge advantage for all the agencies, police departments, and the judges, and purely for public safety. So we're excited about it. We thought it was a big win, a collaborative effort. I've been working with Lieutenant Matthew Lane over at the city of Peoria, and they were on board with saying, yes, we'll put up half the cost and we'll continue this. So we thought this was a great idea and a great collaboration effort. So, and just to let you guys know why we first were targeting and working with the city of Peoria is they're 88%, but roughly 90% of all search warrants come from the city of Peoria. So we felt this was a big push for them to put in half the cost. And then what's nice is we can bring on the sheriff's department, which we've onboarded them, and they can also create standardized search warrant templates within the system. So we could really speed up the process.
Thank you. Any questions, Eden?
So Tyler is becoming our evil overlord and buying everyone out, it sounds like. Right. But so they just bought Cloud Gavel, it sounds like. So is there any chances, any risk of them mucking with the software now that they just acquired it, or are they going to keep it pretty much the same? I just want to make sure that we didn't buy something that suddenly they decide to close or something.
Yeah, no, they'll be very hands off. They're letting the team stay in place that built this and has this. So we've been working strictly with the cloud-based team, and they've made that clear to us along the way. We had an idea the last couple of months it was probably going to come because they were so heavily integrated, and just the chatter was starting to pick up. So they're starting to let us know that, yeah, it's going to be the same team, same product. Just now you'll have the flexibility of, a S&P 500 company behind them. So you don't have to worry about a small mom and pop shop going out of business, even though they weren't that small. They were within 17 states.
Any additional questions? Seeing none. Go ahead and call for a vote.
I vote aye.
Brian is an aye. Linda?
Aye.
Aye. Linda is an aye. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, get a motion to bring to the floor the approval of 4.3, the approval of the 2026 risk management and excess insurance. Can I get a motion first and second? Sharon and Rob, and I believe this is Angela.
Okay, this is our annual excess insurance renewal. Every year we work with our broker, Arthur J. Gallagher, who goes out to market for us on our various lines of coverage, such as our general liability package, or property, cyber, medical, professional, all of those that you see listed in the chart in your packet. So for 2026, the total amount of premiums are going to be just over 1.4 million. This is about a $97,000 increase or 7.1% increase over 2025. Some things that I kind of want to highlight is our general liability package. We are recommending moving to a new carrier called Metis. They have a long-standing history in the public sector, and they are providing coverage of our $10 million of liability coverage. And then for a premium of about just over $700,000. So our current carrier, their renewal only came back at $3 million worth of coverage, again due to some liability claims that we have still that are ongoing. The other option that we also are bringing as a recommendation is related to our cyber liability. We had quite a few renewals, which again I think is a testament to Mark and the IT team, everything that they've done with our cybersecurity efforts. So after discussing with Mark, our recommendation is to move to a new carrier called Coalition. They've provided a significantly lower premium. Have a reduced deductible. Currently, we're at for this year we're at $250,000 per event, and that's being reduced to $50,000 per event. And then they too will continue to provide an enhanced cybersecurity program and services. A few other things related to our medical professional liability that saw an overall decrease in the premium for 26 due to reducing the number of patient encounters because of the closure of the dental facility at the health department. But the premium also does include coverage for the forensic pathologists that the coroner's office is planning to hire in 2026. And then one other thing related to our special coverage or our active assailant, we are recommending moving to a new carrier to take advantage of the premium discount without losing any coverage that we currently have. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Rob?
I just wanted to clarify, just in case somebody was listening online, the dental portion is being transferred to another group. It's not actually closing at the health department.
Correct. Yes, it is just not under the county's direction. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody knew we were still
Yep.
providing
Thank
dental.
you. Sorry.
Sure.
Any additional questions?
I have a question.
Linda?
What sort of liability do we have with a pathologist?
So it would be things related to autopsies for like legal investigations, as well as expert testimony. So it kind of falls under that professional with errors and omissions, but it is underneath the medical professional coverage.
Okay. Well, I mean, considering that their clients are deceased, I can't quite grasp the medical risk there, but okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Seeing none, we'll call for a vote.
I vote aye.
Ryan's an aye.
And I vote aye.
Linda is an aye. Motion carries. Great. Thank you. Okay, we will move on. Is there any additional discussion? Danny?
I was going to let this go, but I really can't. I'm sorry. A moment ago, we referred to as a vendor, and I don't think there was ill intent, as an evil overlord. I think we certainly have a right to ensure that we're getting the best out of our contracts, and I think our team is doing that, but I think that was very unfair to say. And I just want to make sure that we recognize they're actually a partner and they're very integral to our operations here.
Of course they are. I'm sorry. I was discussing the fact that we are very reliant on them, and I have raised that concern before.
Point taken for both. Any additional discussion items? Seeing none. Public comment? Seeing none of that as well. Miscellaneous? Seeing none. I will adjourn. Thank you.